Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
Welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. I'm Darren. I'm your host. Today we got two special guests. We've got CJ from Cooking with CJ YouTube channel and Kent from Daddy Dutch YouTube channel. They also together run another YouTube, or actually it's part of CJ's YouTube channel, but it's a show called The Hot Seat where they have other YouTube cooks channels on and interview them. So I want to welcome you both. Welcome, CJ. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what your channel's about, and all that, and then we'll go to Kent after you.
Right on, man. Thanks a lot for having me on and having Dutch on. We're gonna have a great time. I'm sure we'll have a few stories to compare on. Yeah, sure. Guys, I'm CJ. I have actually two channels now. I did Cooking with CJ. I've been running that channel for a couple of years, and I just recently started a barbecue channel called CJ's Q. I decided that after late last year, I decided to niche down a bit on my channels and with Cooking with CJ, and focused it more on kind of like the foodie name brand, foodie grills, the pressure cookers, all that stuff, because it was actually gaining views and growing my channel, quite a bit. So that actually, made me want to start a second channel where I could niche down on just doing barbecue stuff. So that's just going to be for fun, a little labor of love. And I'm out here in Southern California, so I usually can barbecue year round. It's actually a little bit rainy this week, and most people are staying in the house anyway. But yeah, so that's it, man. I mean, I got started doing it to do something with my son, and he got a little too busy with dad. So I decided to take it on myself. It became a little creative outlet for me. And then once we started making a little bit of money with them super shots that Dutch likes to do on our hot seat, it started making a little bit of cash. So now it's helping pay the bills, and that's a wonderful thing, and we're blessed.
So what do you do for a living besides the YouTube channel? Because I don't know anybody that actually does a YouTube channel full time that I actually talk to. I mean, there's some out there that do, but
right.
nobody that I know. I mean, it's always a good side hustle. So what do you do for a living normally?
I'm in the mortgage industry, so we're going to be a lot busier lately. Rates have been really low, so we've been hustling. I'm in the operations side. I don't sell loans or anything like that. I make sure all regulations are followed. I make sure my teams, we send out all the money. So it's a job. It pays the bills. I like my team. I like my people. So I work with my wife, who's actually in the industry too. We're both managers in different departments. So it just works out well for us. And I've been doing it since I was a teenager. So it's just one of those things that stuck with me. I would like to say I do know some people that do it full time, and a couple of them were on the hot seat right when we got started with Dutch and I. It's Mark from Sauce Stash and Steve from Not Another Cooking Show. Both of those guys passed 100,000. 100,000 subscribers. And we just recently had a third person that was on the hot seat Cooking with Rye pass 100,000 subscribers. So I'm not saying that if you come on the hot seat, you're going to get 100,000 subscribers, but I'm not saying it doesn't happen. All right. So,
well, and eventually down the road, I'd like to be able to say, that's what I do for a living. And I've told this to Tom Horseman and a few other people that I've talked to that are in a similar situation. I hopefully I can retire in 10 years, and this can be my side hustle instead of being a greeter at Walmart or something. Something that I like to do that generates enough money to pay for itself and give me a little extra to play with my toys and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't think I've ever. I'm not going to get rich at it. I'm not going to be some of these guys with 1 million subscribers and run it like a business. I'm going to still have fun and do it, do it so I have a little bit of money that's something I do that I like to do. and have fun with it. So, all right, Kent, let's hear about you.
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kent from Dutch BBQ. I'm in the Midwest, but similar to CJ, I too barbecue year round. My neighbors think I'm crazy because I will take a snowblower to get to my grills and my barbecue. So a little white sand beach in the wintertime up here isn't going to stop me, that's for sure. So,
Attaboy.
So what do you do for a living, Kent?
I am a refrigeration mechanic in the transportation industry for a fairly large, I think they're number 2 ice cream manufacturer in the States by the name of Wells Blue Bunny. I maintain their trailer fleet. So,
Nice.
Turning ranches.
Nice. So I see that big poster on the back of the wall there. Have you done some barbecue competitions before?
Yes. I average anywhere from 10 to 15 a year. I've been competing for about 5 years. So, yeah, quite a few. I only have 11 smokers, so.
So how, are they mostly local? I mean, do you go around the country to do them, or I mean,
No,
how committed are you to that?
Well, if I could barbecue full time and combine that with the YouTube, that would be something awesome. Unfortunately, barbecue is just a really expensive hobby. Normally, the cook-offs I do, I think farthest I've gone is about 140 miles for one. So they're pretty regional up here in the Midwest.
Now, have they all been barbecue cook-offs? Have you ever done any of the new steak cook-offs like they have now?
Last year, it was both barbecue and a steak cook-off, and it was at Woodbury County Fair, sponsored by the Farm Bureau of Iowa. I ended up second on my first ever steak cook, so I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Usually, most of them are all just barbecue cook-offs.
I'm more interested in doing a steak cook-off than a barbecue cook-off, because I've just, over the years, I've watched, all the barbecue shows on cable channels, and just got to realize that there's so much competition. I've been to a few of them, and just, there's so much competition. There's so much doctoring of the meat they do just to try to get their, names to the judge. But I had Brent, from he's the president and co-founder of the SCA, the Steak Cook-Off Association, a couple of weeks ago on my podcast, and he told me just how fast that organization's growing. They were supposed to, probably not with this virus going around now, with all the stuff that's happening with that, but they were supposed to have over 500 SCA competitions this year throughout the world, not just in the United States. They go into Australia and Europe, and they've only been around for like 6 years. So, I mean, that's a really fast growing organization, and I'm really surprised, but it's really simple. I've talked to Malcolm Reed and a few others that have done them, and they love to do them because it's one day. They're really simple. They provide the meat, and the people are just fantastic. And it's pretty much, you just make it a steak. You make it a steak the way that they want it, and you're not having to do 5 or 6 different categories and put all kinds of fancy stuff on it. You just make a perfect steak, and if you win, you win.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things that really draws people to the SCA is the fact that you can go there with a cheap $20 kettle, a little pop-up, a table, some knives, and it's the quickness of the event also. You're not lighting fires at 5 in the morning, to have turn-in at 5 o'clock at night. I mean, if your turn-in's at 1, you're out of there by 3:30.
Well, and like, I know we had a local one here in Lakeland, Florida a couple of weeks ago, and that's one of the bigger ones in the state. But you're there Friday selling barbecue too. You're not just competing. I mean, you're having to sell barbecue. So, I mean, you're not just cooking so you can put some in a box and take it to a judge. You got people there, selling to the public as well. So they're more, and if you have never been to a barbecue competition, there's a lot more to it than what you see on the TV shows. That's for sure. So
Definitely.
So what got you, let's go back to CJ. What got you started on the YouTube channel and cooking in particular? Because, I know a lot of people start YouTube channels, but, to focus on cooking, it was natural for me because I've always, since I was a teenager, I've always cooked. So how did you get started in your cooking YouTube channel?
Well, starting with the cooking background, I lived with my mom. It was just me and her growing up. When I was, teenager years, I had to learn how to cook myself. My mom taught me the basics and all that stuff. And then once I, moved out and was on my own, I moved out of the house when I was 18, got, had roommates, whatever. And a couple of those roommates would watch the Food Network with me. And, when Emeril Lagasse was big, we'd watch that every night. And, we'd go out there and, try to learn how to, cook more and expand our horizons a bit. So that's kind of where I got it. And with my cooking, I've never been afraid to fail. If something doesn't work, I know that, pizza is a phone call away. I'm not going to, no one's going hungry, right? So, if something don't work, it don't work. And then I just move on. But as far as the YouTube thing goes, my son was getting into, in high school, was into film production, the school TV station, all that. Was going into college, so I said, why don't you help me? I'll do some cooking on online or in the kitchen. You film it, we'll put it on YouTube. I didn't realize YouTube cooking community was such a thing, but I thought I was just hey, I'm gonna do this. So I figured it would help him get a portfolio together for colleges that he could send out, because that's what he wanted to do, was film and editing and production and all that. But as he was like a junior or senior in high school, he did not have time to keep up with what I wanted to do. I started kind of getting into it. I wanted to do 2 videos a week. I wanted him edited right away. Of course, he's got homework jobs, so it just did not work. He couldn't keep up with my time frame, so I had to learn how to do it myself. I learned how to edit, learn how to light, I learned how to use audio, cameras, the whole bit. And I just dug it. And I went through some, a rough little patch there where it was really helping me, focus on something positive, giving me some creative juices. Learning new things was such a huge thing for me, learning the editing and the whole production of it. And after that, I got pretty dug in with the community. And then Dutch and I took over the hot seat from another YouTube barbecuer, Hobo Nickel Barbecue. And from that point on, I think it really entrenched me and Kent into this community. We're going on the 2nd year of doing the hot seat together. And, I just keep doing it. Obviously we're making a bit of cash with it, with the super shots and all that. So it's just kind of kept me going with it. It's a drive to be better. I want to be the one guy on my channel that actually got to 100 grand too, so I'm just going to keep working on it until it happens.
Yeah. I kind of started, I started first, I created a Facebook group, because when I first started barbecue and, I don't know, when I started doing more barbecue a few years back, I started getting into the message boards, the old fashioned, like the Barbecue Brethren and the Amazing Ribs Pitmaster Club and stuff like that, the old bulletin board type stuff. And then when Facebook came along, the Facebook group started popping up. And so I started my own, and then I started working with the sous vide and mixing the sous vide and barbecue, and it kind of expanded from there. And then, went into the YouTube, and now I'm doing the podcast and everything too. So I kind of understand. I started cooking when I was a teenager, and I got the bug. I started working in restaurants. So, but I too, my mom and I lived together, by ourselves, and I did a lot of the cooking at home too. So I kind of get that. So I appreciate the starting where you did with your son, and then you fell in love with it. That's kind of like what I did. I kind of started doing it and said I taught myself how to edit. I taught myself how to do all this stuff too. So
right.
Hopefully, like you probably do the same thing I do. You go back and look at some of your earlier videos and you cringe, but I leave them up there because they remind me and they remind everybody. Malcolm Reed, when I had him on my podcast, it's the same thing. He has, you go back, look at his earlier videos, and he says he leaves them on there for a reason, because he goes back and looks at them. Yeah.
I tell you what, I've in the 2 years that I've been doing this, between the hot seat on there, which is probably 100 streams, I think, give or take, and then 260, 250 videos. One of my best view getters that is, right now my highest watched, like minute wise, is a steak video I did, like a butter basted cast iron steak. And I did it. It was the 7th or 8th video I did. And right now it's still, so leave them up. If any other YouTubers are watching, like, leave all your videos up. You never know what's going to hit and generate income for you.
Well, and me too, being a consumer of YouTube videos, like I said, I went back and watched some of Malcolm Reed's first videos. And if you go back, because he's been on almost 12 years or now, I think. Right. And if you go back and you watch one of them, and then you go to one of the ones he does now, you can see how he's grown. And it tells somebody like me that, I can do the same thing, look how he started and look where he is now. And so.
Well, if you think about it too, I think us, just recently coming into it, we have a bit more advantages. We have more competition than they had at the start, but we have a bit more advantages with, the HD cameras and the proper microphones and the lighting and all that stuff. That wasn't something like, if you wanted to start a YouTube channel right now, $500, $600, you can get started with whatever you need and put out top quality, high, definition videos and just be ahead of the game. But, back, when YouTube was starting, or when Malcolm Reed was starting doing this stuff, they were using them Canon, VHS tapes in them or something, right? So there's less competition, and that's why they've been probably had some longevity back in there. But we have a ton more competition, but we can put out a lot quality product. Lot more quality product.
Yeah, we can put out a better video with our cell phones now than they could back then. So I mean, it's just amazing.
Hell, I do.
Yeah, me too. That's what I still shoot. I shoot on my iPhone 10. So I mean,
my B-roll. My B-roll is my cell phone video now.
Yeah, it's a 4K camera. So all right, Kent, I didn't mean to leave you out. So let's go back to you and say, how did you start the YouTube? We know that you did some barbecue competitions and you've been barbecuing a lot. So
I actually got started into it. I used YouTube to find different items for ancillary competitions. Something off the wall, something that's not normal every day in barbecue, for the ancillary competitions, whether it's bean cook-off or chili or whatever. Excuse me. And I came across this bacon weave on my suggested feed one time, and it ended up being the hot seat with Hobo. And so on Thursday nights, I'd watch that. And Chris had commented one time, he goes, "You're the only non-YouTuber that watches this. You know that, right?" Week and a half later, he gives me a call and says, "Hey, do you want to be on the hot seat?" And I was like, "What?" I didn't even have a video up. I just had a name up there. That's it. So I put up a video of the pits I used and everything, and had to do it twice because I forgot to turn the microphone on the first time. Well, hey, that's the worst that went wrong. That's all right. But and just started putting out videos, small videos from there. Different cooks and stuff. Now I do a lot of Blackstone cooks. I have 3 Blackstones. So, I always have one camping. I have my barbecue pits with me wherever I go. So if they're not at the house, they're on the trailer or behind the RV in the trailer, and just, putting out a mixture of videos. So.
Yeah, I've watched a few of your live streams too, where you're just cooking there in your garage with your Blackstone. So
yep. Yeah, a lot of breakfast on the Blackstone, I'll say that.
Yeah.
So.
Now how many I try to do a live stream every once in a while, but I don't know if I have the patience for it, because usually I only get 5 or 6, people come on. I just, unless I'm going to announce it, a good long time ahead of time, I've just never had because I don't do them on a regular basis. I don't get a lot of participation, but I know that you do some, and I know that CJ does some, but I know the hot seat is the main thing, because people are already watching you guys for the live stream on that. So let's talk about live streams versus just a regular video. Before I got monetized and all that, one of the tricks I did find is that if you do a live stream and you do get people that are watching the live stream,
Right.
that really counts towards your watch hours a lot faster than just sticking a regular video up there. Do you guys find that?
100%, straight up. I mean, I did a video on how to get to 4,000 watch hours, and it literally came down to go live, making breakfast on your Blackstone, go live talking to your buddies. I think I don't know if I was interviewing you or Eric from Smoking Barbecues and Recipes,
Right.
but when I was filming, like Dutch was talking to you or Eric, I forgot which one it was. I'm like, go live while you're talking to your buddies, whatever. So to me, when I first realized that, I went live for the fun of it, had 6 or 7 people in there, but ended up with like 40 hours of watch time or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
So that is like light bulb. I'm like, dude, this is how I'm going to get monetized. And taking over the hot seat on my channel, that's instant watch hours every Thursday night at 6. Man, it just worked really well for me.
Yeah. When I first realized that, because I'd hit 1,000 subscribers pretty easy. And it was that 4,000 hours of watch time that was, really the big thing the hill I had to climb. But once I did a live stream once, and I think I only had like 6 people actually on it, and it was only for like 45 minutes. And then I realized after the end, it tells you how much, watch time it was. And it was like, holy cow, that's like
Exactly.
6 videos, that have been out there for a month. I've got more watch time on that than I've got in my whole channel just about. So yeah, I started doing them periodically, but I kind of phased off of it once I got monetized. But
Right.
I need to start doing them again, because they are a good way to get your followers, to interact with you as well. But have you found that too, Dutch?
Yes. I haven't done any lives here recently, because unfortunately life gets in the way, busy with kids, activities, everything like that. But yes, I do believe in going live will definitely increase your watch time. That is gospel truth there, and I don't think anybody can tell you any different on that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
A good example, had a lot of followers because he normally went live for sure once, if not twice a day. Marion from Robert Roy.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody knew about, well, depending on your time zone, like for me, about 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night, I'd be getting a notification saying Robert Roy is live. And all what he was doing was he was just cooking family supper on his Blackstone, but then would add a few twists to it. So, he's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And Marion had real good watch time also.
Yeah, I watched a lot of his videos as well, and like you said, it's that's all he did was live stuff. I don't think he did a pre-recorded video. He never had to edit. He never had to worry about adding music or what have you. If he wanted to add music, he would just turn on the radio or something. So, but yeah, I mean, there's many different ways you can do this thing called YouTube, and I think we all kind of have our own style after a while. But it's fun to watch the different guys and how they've done it and evolved over the years. I have had Troy on from T. Roy Cooks and
Right.
Russ Jones and Greg, and they're all kind of a little different, even though they do barbecue and they kind of cook some of the same stuff, but they all kind of do it their own way. So.
Well, I'm telling you, you were kind of talking about the difference of the two. I actually just did a live cook on my channel on Sunday, and we do videos, right? So the live cook, I still had to have everything prepared, more or less. Still cooking, still had to set up all my stuff, set up my lighting, whatever. The only thing I didn't have to do was come back and edit it. I didn't put any music on it, but when you film and then have to edit and then add the music and all that stuff, to me, it just felt like it was about the same amount of work. I mean, you still have to clean up after yourself. I mean, when you're looking at a 10-minute YouTube video, it looks pretty quick and pretty clean, and that's what the average viewer is looking at. But what they don't see is the hour of preparation, the hour of cooking it, the hour of cleaning, the 5 hours of editing, whatever. I'm just generalizing numbers, but there's 10 hours that go into a 20-minute meal, right? So
Right.
it's the live. I love watching Kent do lives. I wish he'd do more. He welcomes Dutch welcomes everybody into his house. It's so comforting to watch Dutch cook live, make a breakfast or whatever. It's like I want to jump on a plane and go to Iowa and grab some of them eggs and whatever. My lives, I was just watching my one. I had the kids monkeying around. I'd go over here to cook, and I had 2 cameras set up, and they would jump in while I was in this camera. They jump on this camera and monkey around and all that stuff. And it's fun. I'm all about family. We've talked about it. I have 5 kids, man. We're a blended family, so there's always monkeys running around, and it makes them feel a part of it. So when I do need help, cooking, cleaning, whatever, they'll jump in. The kids want to be on camera. We've made it a whole family. My wife is very supportive of this YouTube journey because she sees what it can be, and she's ultimately got my back. So we've described it as a second job. I put a lot of work into it. I do at least 2 videos a week on Cooking with CJ. We do the hot seat every Thursday night. I started doing at least 1 video a week for CJ's Q. But we're hoping that you're putting in the effort now, you're putting that work in, eventually it'll pay off. Like you're saying, you don't want to be a Walmart greeter. I'm the same way. And we got all these kids going out to college. I want them to learn how to cook. So either they can watch my old videos or they could be in the kitchen with me cooking. So there's a lot of little benefits to doing this. It's a lot of hard work, but I think there's plenty of benefits to it.
I wish I could get my kids on. Every time I try to, they're like, I don't want to be on, So, but they appreciate it though. They watch my stuff, and they're on YouTube all the time, so they kind of understand it. They were kind of like, oh man, good. My dad's. They always tell their friends and stuff. My dad's got a YouTube channel, so that's always fun.
Anytime the kids bring over a friend and I see them have a phone, I'm like, hey, are you subscribed? If you're not subscribed, man, jump on there right now. You're not having dinner tonight, and they jump on.
I was talking when I was talking to Tom Horseman on his podcast the other day. I had him on the podcast the other day. He doesn't edit much at all. If you ever watch his videos, he just says, I just, whatever I decide to do that day, he doesn't plan them. He's cooking his dinner, or, he decides he wants to talk about, a drill he bought, or, it's just whatever pops into his mind. But I just love watching his videos, and he's been doing like 2 or 3, actually almost 1 a day now since his wife's been down in Florida. But he just says, yeah, I'm going to cook dinner. I'm going to video it, because he hardly ever edits anything. So.
No, it's funny how he does it. But again, he has that welcoming tone.
Right.
Like, let's take a look-see,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the look-see, yeah.
Oh boy, let's, he has that vibe, and that's why everybody loves Tom. He's such a good dude. We've interviewed him too. He's been in our little hangouts. Some people don't edit. They don't need to. One of our moderators on our chat, Keith Bettag, anytime anybody asks, what do you edit with? Darren, what do you edit with? He'd be like, what's editing?
Yeah.
They stop the camera and start it up again, or on their phone or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And back to Tom. Tom is a super nice guy. I met Tom last summer, and his son Brian from Mad Horse Barbecue.
Right.
So what you see on the videos is what you're going to see in real life with Tom Horseman. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's really. That's what I told him. On the podcast, I said, you have that. the personality people attract you. It's not what you're doing. I told him you could be cooking a shoe, and people are going to watch you because they're going to take a look-see at what you're cooking on. You're cooking a shoe. Great. They'll sit there and watch your whole 10-minute video you cooking a shoe on whatever cooker you got in your garage today, So, I mean, he's just that's the type of guy I like to watch because you never know what he's going to do. You never know what he's going to cook on because he's got so many grills, and you don't know if he's going to cook or if he's going to show you what drill he got, So it's just, yeah, and he's got that personality that you always want to watch what he's got coming on. So, hey, all, this is Darren, and I want to take a minute to talk to you about Masterclass. I just signed up for Masterclass, and I can tell you what, it's well worth it. Masterclass is where you can learn how to cook from Gordon Ramsay. You can learn how to sous vide from Thomas Keller. You can learn how to make Texas barbecue from Aaron Franklin himself. All these classes are available on Masterclass, plus many more. Masterclass has great video content, interactive assignments, social interaction with the Masterclass community, all for just one fee. You can either buy each individual class for $90 each, or you can sign up for the annual pass, which gives you access to all their classes for just $180. And that's what I signed up for. Check it out, guys. Masterclass has some of the best online training you can find. Check it out, guys, in the link below. Masterclass, amazing. Now on to the show. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the hot seat. We kind of went into both your channels and how you got started in YouTube and all that, but what brought you guys together pretty much was this show called The Hot Seat, and it was started out on Dutch. I guess you kind of hit on it where Chris Hobo Nickel Barbecue kind of started this YouTube show on his channel where you interview other YouTube cook type channels. So people that have cooking channels on YouTube, you invite them to come on. You do like a podcast. Pretty much you just interview them, find out who they are, how they got started, kind of like we're doing with you guys. So I guess he started that a couple of years back. And then CJ, how did you get involved in taking it over for him?
Well, he had interviewed me when I was a couple hundred subscribers in, and it became part of our Thursday night show up, see who's on, BS for a little bit, no big deal, watch Chris drink bourbon, it was real pretty low key, and he had some work responsibilities that he couldn't do the hot seat anymore. So no one was, asking. So I just, asked him if he'd mind if I took it over. Or when I first reached out to him, I'm like, hey, I'll keep the seat warm until you get back from work or whatever your issues are. And he's like, I'm done. It's yours. Run with it. So I did. And he had a co-host also. And I reached out to, his name was Sky. I reached out to him, and he wasn't keen to keep going. And Dutch was, I don't even remember how we worked it out, but it worked out that Dutch jumped in. And from show one, it's been like straight brotherhood right there, man. We get along and sometimes don't get along so well. People love it, man. And yeah, if I get out of line,
yeah, the pen throwing.
What I do is I have my list of questions like you do, right? And I'll keep that conversation rolling for a little bit. But we have the chat going, and Kent will take the questions from the chat. So I have my generic kind of conversational questions, and then Dutch will take questions from the chat. So he's always got his pen, he's got his notepad or whatever. And if I happen to go look in the chat or ask a question from the chat, I get the hashtag pin flip. He throws his pin up in there, walks away, storms off, comes back, and gives me some crap. So anyway, it's just happened to work out very well. We interview cooking creators, but we also interview companies like that want to come on. We've interviewed Dave Parrish from Slow and S&S Grills, talked about the Slow and Steer. We have barbecue rub manufacturers like Uncle Steve Shake was just on. Anybody that has to do with a creativeness. So it doesn't have to be cooking. I mean, granted, they are mostly cooking or food related, but it's just, we want to have interesting people on there, people that our group will, our followers will enjoy listening to, and interact into the comments. Because if they're not in the chat asking questions, it's a real short interview. Because like I said, my conversational points, questions or whatever, not that much, but we rely on the chat. We rely on the people watching. So we'll have anywhere from like 50, 80, 100 viewers at any given time. We rely on them to help us provide content and questions for the guests. So
yeah, so this is, what, from people that don't know, if you go to Cooking with CJ's channel on YouTube, every Thursday night at 9:00 Eastern time is the hot seat, and it's a live show. And that's what he's saying is pretty much it feeds off the live audience. It's not something that, they do record it so you can go back and watch it later.
right.
But the interactiveness of the live show, I think, is what makes it so popular and so fun. Like you said, the chat, the conversations going on in the chat can, it can embarrass you. It can, people just go nuts in that chat sometimes. And depending on who the guest is and all that, I mean, I experienced it, and I go in, I'd like to say I watch every week, but I don't. I mean, I get busy, but whenever I'm in there, I have fun because, it's just, there's always something going on, and the live aspect of it, watching who's going to say what, being able to participate in it, and then you guys got you started this about a year ago with the super shots, where where they actually can do the super chat, which is they can donate some money, and you set a dollar amount. If it's, let's say it's $20, that you all do a shot, the guest and the two hosts.
Yeah.
And the goal is to try to get you drunk and fall down.
Yeah, it's funny how people will spend their hard-earned money to watch us drink heavily, but we'll take it. Kent, he tells the story better than I do, but one particular YouTube creator that was on, we like to call her the devil woman, because she started us off on this alcoholic journey. But Dutch, go ahead and explain it, bud.
Well, when she came on, she was really nervous. So she got a hold of CJ and says, "Hey, can we have a shot before time?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, we'll do one." Well, that happened to get mentioned during the live stream. And I believe, if I remember right, it was Hobo that actually, who's the king of hashtags, was in the chat and put it in there and coined it Super Shots. So then everybody was wanting to donate $5, $10 to see us do a shot. Well, it got to be way too many. So we had to put a dollar amount on it just so that we could still function the next day at work.
Exactly.
So, and
so they really had to want to see you drink that shot. They had to come up with some more money than just a couple bucks.
Right.
Yeah, it was necessary that we could not. We let one of our moderators set a shot price of like $6.99, and we were 15 shots deep within 15 minutes. So we took that power away from her, and then the shots need to be more reasonable now. So we do it at $20, $25, whatever. It's all in good fun. The guests have a good time. It loosens it up, obviously. I like to call alcohol the true serum. You get the real people when they're drinking, and again, we don't let them get obliterated. Once I see people like that really took it to heart and wanted to go hard with us, and they start kind of sliding, maybe slumping, little slurring, I'll start wrapping it up right away and be like, all right, well, we're going to call it a day. Kent and I keep in contact through the whole show via like text message or messenger. So once, if we see someone going a little sideways, took it a little too far, we'll shut it down. We're here to have a good time, not embarrass anybody. So, or let anybody embarrass themselves. So
Well, and you don't require them to participate in the shot.
No one's required. But
yeah.
it's funny how many people that look forward to it and talk about it, because I book out the guests 3-4 months, and I will get messages through the coming weeks like, dude, I can't wait to get on there. We're gonna do some super shots. I got my booze already lined up, whatever. Dutch has that too. People talk to him about it. It's something that people look forward to. Even if they're drinking a beer with us, they want to have a drink with us. They want to have a good time. We've always had, Dutch and I both enjoy a whiskey while we're doing this, and we have from the jump. But when Alicia, got us to take that shot, and then Hobo put the super shot, it became a much more, celebratory kind of thing going on, and people want to be a part of it. And it's a party every Thursday. We have a great time. No one's required to drink. In fact, the guest I have on this Thursday does not drink at all. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to have a whiskey with me. And if someone wants to donate some money, we'll roll with it. The other thing I do like to add is there are times when we take those super shots and donate them. So last month we had a guest on that asked if we could donate the super shots, and to my charity, to whatever charity I chose, and I chose Make-A-Wish because my son recently beat cancer, and the Make-A-Wish team helped us quite a bit. So I'm going to donate the money that we raised, minus YouTube's fees and taxes. I'm going to donate that to Make-A-Wish. And that particular night, we raised over $1,000 in super shots. But I'm only gonna see 650 whatever of it. But I'm gonna take all that money and donate it. And I've done that when I had Harry Sue on. He talked about 3 charities that he donates to. So any of those super shots in that night, I spaced them out between the 3. We've done it with Kenneth from What's New Barbecue. We cook Tough Like Jack. It's not, if there's an opportunity to, support something, we support the vets, whatever, we will, and we'll have some fun with it by taking the shots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're CJ, you're kind of the host. You're the main guy that's on your channel. So Kent, you're kind of like his sidekick, right?
Correct.
He's the co-host with the most.
Here's one thing that I like about it, and CJ mentioned it earlier with his standard list of questions. I get asked some fun questions.
All right.
From the chat. And if somebody answers wrong, you can't believe how bad that chat can explode.
Oh, I know. I've been there. I've seen it.
That's true.
The way they answer is and that makes it fun too, is seeing the chat just go crazy over something.
Yeah, so your job is pretty much you got to monitor the chat the whole time. So you're having the fun while CJ is just yammering on, asking his boring questions. You get to see all
boring.
You get to see all the fun stuff that's happening in the chat. And that's what makes this, that's why I said that's what makes this. I'm sure it's a blast for you guys to do it every week. But I mean, just as far as us people who have watched it, it's to participate in it. It's something totally different than anything else on YouTube as far as I'm concerned, because it's something that I care about, cooking, and YouTube, channels that are, people that I've watched on YouTube all the time,
right.
And it's just a fun thing that, to be on it. It was great when I was on it. It's great to see people that, that I've followed on the YouTube, be on it. So you get to know them a little bit more, but you get to see that they're a real person too, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it works so well because we do play off of each other, really well. And, we're human. And every other month or so, we're kind of, I'll be like, I just am not into this today. It's been a crap week at work, whatever. I stubbed my toe, or Dutch would be the same way. And, we'll power through because we've set up a guest, and it's our responsibility, and our community wants us to be there. And even if I'm dragging tail to get in there, once we get started, it's like a switch, whatever, first shot, first drink, whatever. And we just get going and it just feels right. As simple as that. And I've said it 100 times. Like, if I don't have Dutch in this with the long haul, and every 6 months, a year, we review and decide if we want to keep going or whatever. If it's not Dutch, I ain't gonna do it. And that's it. I can't imagine doing this long term with anybody else. So that's how I feel about that.
So how backlogged are you on having guests on? How long is the list of people that you got coming on?
I'm booked into, I think, June now. So, for a month, we got, what was that, 12, something like that. I try not to go much further than that, because there was a point when I was going 5-6 months out. And then when I, come up to the Monday before the show, I'd reach out and either they've forgotten or obviously something's come up or whatever. And then I'm scrambling to find a guest. So I've been trying to keep it around 2-3 months ahead now, just because that seems to ease up the issues, last minute issues, right?
Right. Now, how hard is it for you to get guests? I mean, are you constantly looking for people? Do people constantly contacting you directly? How's it go for that?
It's not hard at all. They, for the most part, call me. Every once in a while, I've reached out to a couple heavy hitters, some big channels. But this has always been about, our little community, and people join the community all the time. And I try to find like interesting guests in here, but there's also just the new kids on the block that want to get their name out there. Like I was, when I went on, I had 200 subscribers. I wanted my name out there. Kent, he had 2 subscribers when he went on.
I was on. I was one.
I don't remember how many you had when you
I didn't think I had 1,000. I don't think you were still like 600 or 700.
Yeah. So there's no requirement. You could have 2 on the subscribers, or you could have 2 million. It doesn't matter to me. I just want you to be interesting, and I want to be able to have a conversation with you. And when you give me yes or no answers instead of like expanding on something, that drives me nuts. So I try to know as best as I can the people that are talking, or the people that want to come on. I see them interacting through the community, and if I see that they're going to be an interesting conversation, and that's it. I look at their vibe on their videos. I look at how they reach out to me, and that's it. I want to be able to have a good conversation, and that's really my only prerequisite.
Yeah. And, I think you're always going to have a deep source to draw from, because there's always people starting out,
Right.
and people are attracted to, people like you and Kent and, T-Roy and Greg Mervich, and, that like to help people and give back. It's, because they're always, commenting on, when you comment on their videos, they comment back, or if you reach out to them, they'll reach back. It's like one of my first ones, Greg Mervich, I reached out to him because he was one of the first videos I saw where somebody was mixing sous vide and barbecue.
Right.
And I reached out to him in an email, and, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes later, he emailed me back, and, this is this and that. I'm like, wow, great. And then I got to know him. And when I was out to San Diego last week, I actually went to dinner with him. So, I mean, it's most of the guys like that, and Justin, Baby Back Maniac, and you guys, and they're all open, and they're not, condescending or,
No.
haughty or anything like that. Even if they've been on, like Malcolm Reed, I had him on my podcast, him and his wife. They were the nicest, most laid back, humble people you would ever meet. And, here's a guy that, started out, filming with, like you said, that Canon, camcorder that, was shaking the whole time. And now he's got his own, rubs and sauces, and, his own pretty much dynasty, from just that. But you couldn't tell it if you met him on the street. He's just the nicest guy in the world. So I think a lot of the YouTube cook people are like that, and that's what really attracted me to it as well. So,
well, you got to think that everybody starts with 0. I know it sounds cliche, but everybody had to start somewhere. Everybody had to grow their thing, and everybody relied on somebody at some point. Someone gave them a shout out, or someone answered an email, or someone, whatever, did a collaboration, whatever. Everybody started somewhere, and all those gentlemen you mentioned, I've met them all, and they're all just great people. Broke bread with some of them, hung out with them, changed ideas. I was actually at Vid Summit last year. I was sitting at a table with Greg, Justin, Big Bag Maniac, Greg from Ballistic Barbecue, Cosmos Q, and Guga from Guga Foods and Sous Vide Everything. I'm sitting at a table. I have 5,000 subscribers maybe, and I'm sitting at a table just absorbing all of what they were talking about. And just like, I'm a nobody, and they invited me. Like, Greg called me. He's like, hey, you want to come out to Vid Summit? We'll be out there. I was like, you know who I am? Shit. All right, cool. So, sorry, excuse my language. But that was amazing to me. And everybody I've met in the YouTube community has been awesome. Just as personable as you think they'd be. And, no one, I don't think there's too many people faking it on these YouTube videos.
Right. What about you, Dutch? Are you faking it?
That's
I fake it all the time. No, it's I think that's the best part about your channel on YouTube is you just get to be you. Right. Hopefully everybody likes your videos. Of course, there's going to be some that don't, and that's fine. You're not going to get every sub in the world, but it's nice when you put out a video and I don't want to say you get the same people commenting every time, but it is because then those people are really watching, because it's just going to show you how many views. It's not going to tell you who watched unless they made a comment about your video. So, right. Seeing that core group, I guess is a better way to put it, is nice. And, it's always great when you go on the studio and you look and, oh, boom, look at that. I got more subscribers. Awesome. Just, more along for the ride to have fun. So, yeah, for those that are faking it on YouTube, it's not worth it. Just be you and have fun. That's what this is about.
Yeah, I agree exactly. And, that's one of the things that I talked to Tom Horseman about is, like he said, I am who I am. I'm going to film what I want to film. I'm not doing anything for anybody else. That's why he'll review a drill and one day, and the next day he's cooking his hamburger on the caveman grill, just whatever he wants.
By the way, that thing looks awesome. I commented on the videos. I'm like, that thing gets so dang hot. That's awesome.
For $120. Yeah. But
seriously.
But I mean, that's me too. I mean, I have people ask me, oh, you should do this, you should do that, or they try to critique me. And it's like, I can take criticism, no problem. I know, my audio was bad at one time. I had to get a different mic. I know that, but when you said there, oh, you can't, use sous vide to do that. I try to avoid the negative. I don't get a whole lot of negative comments anymore. The ones that, drive me nuts are the ones that are just, all they're doing is trying to get a rise out of you. That, they don't even, didn't even watch your video. They're just, going from video to video, just saying nasty things, just, to get a rise out of people. So, but there's very few of those anymore. I know that, CJ, I've seen you on Facebook post up some of your, idiots of the week that you get some of these. Idiots of the week. So I think we all get that. But one of the things I do love about it, though, is like you said, you can be yourself and you don't have to put airs on. And you're going to attract the people that like what you do and like your personality. But and that's one of the things with the hot seat. I think with you, CJ and Kent, your personalities, bounce off each other really well. And then you throw in all the other weirdos that come into the chat that are we all do the same thing. We all have the cooking channels, and
right.
We all have our own methods that we use, and we got air fryers, you got people that are doing the Blackstones, and people doing barbecue, you got people doing the ninja foodie like now, CJ, and
right.
all different kinds of cooking styles, and me with the sous vide and all that. So, and they're all coming together and, just having a good time. So where do you see the hot seat going? Are you going to continue this, as long as you can keep it going? Are you going to expand it? What do you think?
I'm always, the format I think will always more or less stay the same, because I think it works. It doesn't mean I don't want to improve. I'll look for ways to improve it. We try to find ways to, set it up differently. I told you my son moved to college. I commandeered his room and made an office out of it so I could do my shows in here. I don't have Dutch's outdoor man cave that he has. So I think we'll just keep rolling. And like I said, every 6 months, every year, we get together, we talk about it, see, if we can keep it going. The viewership is relatively stayed the same. It improves with some bigger guests, and for the lesser guests that don't have much of a following, it's a little bit less. But on average, it does well, and we have a good time. And I can't imagine it stopping. I don't see we're not retiring on this, but as long as we're having a good time, as long as we can find guests, and it doesn't seem to be a shortage of those, I think we'll keep it rolling. And I don't know how much more to make it bigger. I'm always looking for sponsors. So if you got any sponsors that want to come on here, anytime we have a company that, an owner of a company that comes on and we interview them, we ask that they put a little side of something to give away to the group. So make it kind of sponsored by them or not. I'd love to get a paid sponsorship, put it in here. I wouldn't mind putting their logo up on there the whole time. Their whole time. And you just never know what'll happen. I just recently became a Pit Boss brand ambassador, so I hope to work with them a little bit more. And if I can get to the point where they're sponsoring the hot seat, I will. Any other companies that I find reputable, like I love the Pit Barrel Cooker. I've asked them to sponsor. They don't really do that. I think that's the next step, is getting it sponsored somehow. But it has to be the right person. It has to be the right company. They have to be someone that can understand that it's kind of a party atmosphere. We use loose language. We drink heavily. So it can't be, not Dutch. Dutch doesn't drink heavily. He just drinks like he normally drinks. So, so it's just one of those things where it has to be the right people. But I think that would be the next step, is getting it sponsored.
Do you think
I don't know, Dutch, if you have anything to add to that, but.
Well, do you think it would help if you guys moved it to its own channel instead of it being a part of your channel, or have you discussed that?
I don't know. I actually do have a channel, set up for it already. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it because I don't want to start from scratch. And like I said, right now with the Super Shot, it is part of an income. It is money we're making. So I would like to think that if my videos get to the point where they're making, with the AdSense that I make with the Super Shots and we do every week, then we'll move it over to the other channel where we have to start all over again with getting the subscribers and getting the watch hours and all that stuff. But I have it ready just in case. But in the meantime, we're just going to keep it on, Cooking with CJ for now.
So I didn't mean to jump in there, Kent. Go ahead and expand on what you wanted to talk about.
No, CJ and I, like, he said earlier, we're always in constant contact with each other.
Right.
Hopefully we're going to be, a month from today, meeting in person if they open Las Vegas back up.
If they open it.
Yeah. CJ and I talk a lot. And I think we're both happy where the hot seat is right now and how it's, it's progressing nicely. There could be changes we can make that we've talked about in the past, but right now, the way the ball is rolling, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But, a sponsor, a weekly sponsor would be awesome. We had Uncle Steve Shake on a couple weeks ago. Steve was more than generous. with gift packs
Right.
that we sent out. If I remember right, who was the first one we did that with? Was that not Dan Wright?
Yeah. Dan Wright's
One that
Barbecue.
wanted
He
to,
did the first giveaways.
do a giveaway live on the hot seat. So,
And then Michael Petrie from Heaven Made Products, he's
Correct.
donated quite a bit. He used to jump in the chat and be like, "Hey, CJ, give something away right now."
Yep.
You know, I haven't actually heard from Michael in a while. I hope he's doing well. But anybody that comes on that, you know, has some kind of, you know, owner of some company, like Dave Parrish even gave away a Sloan Sear. You know, I want to make sure that, you know, they're coming on, we're giving them some exposure. It's nice to give a little something back to the people that are watching.
Yep.
Cool. Well, yeah, and I don't think you want to make major changes, you know, right away. You kind of, when you want to change something that's been successful, you kind of slip a little here and there.
Right.
You know, so if you bring
Everything we'll do will be calculated and hopefully not very noticeable.
Right. Well, you know, it's been pretty successful. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being on. I enjoy watching it when I get a chance to watch it. I even watch the replays a lot too. You know, if I can't be there, 9:00 at night on Thursdays, 9:00 at night on Thursdays, Eastern time, Cooking with CJ. Check it out. The Hot Seat.
It's your
Also-
Thursday night addiction.
Also check out Daddy Dutch's YouTube channel. Check out Cooking with CJ. What's the, is it CJ's Q is the new channel?
Yeah. CJ capital S, or sorry, apostrophe S, QUE. So it's 2 words. CJ's Q.
So how's that been growing so far? You just started that like a month ago or so?
Yeah, a little bit less than a month ago. Close to 400 subscribers. A lot of the people that are on Cooking with CJ jumped over and supported me on there. I have like 7 or 8 videos going right now. A few of the videos have actual more views than my subscriber count. So to me, that means it's getting somewhere in the algorithm. YouTube's letting it play a little bit. And hopefully, you know, we'll keep doing good content over there. I did it as, you know, a labor of love, but, you know, I have a great passion for barbecue. There's not a lot of good barbecue in Southern California. So, you know, with Kent's help, I've become such a better, you know, I don't say pit master, but, you know, I learned how to do a lot better barbecue because of Kent and the community itself. So, and so I'm going to take the knowledge of that and to take the knowledge of YouTube that I've learned. And instead of having those awkward first videos that we were talking about, I was able to kind of jump in to CJ's Q with everything I know. So with, you know, SEO tags and lighting and sound and, you know, barbecue and editing and all that stuff. So I'm hoping with the knowledge that I have with that, it makes it grow quite a little bit more faster than, you know, obviously Cooking with CJ did.
I think Guga's the one that did that with, you know, he started with sous vide everything. And he might have started Guga Foods around the same time, but he put a lot more emphasis on sous vide everything.
Right.
And then when that started growing, he kind of started taking what he was learning in sous vide everything and kind of put it into Guga Foods. And you could tell that a lot of his earlier videos on sous vide everything were like kind of like Malcolm Reed type videos when he was starting. They weren't as polished. But if you look at the, you know, the Guga Foods ones, and the Guga Foods actually blew past sous vide everything.
Yeah.
It hit 1 million, you know, subscribers before sous vide. I don't think sous vide everything's even at 1 million subscribers yet.
I think it's damn close, but I don't think it's there yet.
I don't think it's there yet, but I think you know, but Guga Foods just kind of went whoop, like past it, you know.
It's amazing.
And
I hope that happens for CJ's Q.
Yeah, but Guga's got the web designing background, the SEO stuff. Yeah. He's got a lot of stuff in his back pocket that he knew before going in. So
yeah,
and
he was very knowledgeable, and like again, it was so awe-inspiring, you know, that he was taking the time to talk to me. You know, I'm just a nobody, and he got me there. So, and their advice worked. You know, I decided to kind of niche down on just the foodie products, and I doubled my subscribers in a couple of months, and you know, it's just rolling.
Yeah, I think we all kind of learn on our own, and we take advice from people that have been there. and done that. And we all make our little changes here and there. And like I said, that's why I started the podcast, because I saw that there was a couple just barbecue ones, but there was ones that none that just talked about sous vide and barbecue. And then they kind of mixed it, with other things. It was either just barbecue, and then you had to, there's some guys out there that, Barbecue Central and some of the others that have been around a long time, but you can tell they're more like radio hosts,
Yeah, definitely.
And then you got the guys like, Mad Meat Barbecue, that every other word out of his mouth's the F&A, bro, so they got
I
their
was
own,
on that one too.
yeah, no, I know. And, but they all have their own different audiences. So I figured there was room for another, to go out there. And my podcast is actually growing faster than my YouTube channel did at the beginning. So I'm hoping, just the brand itself, and if I have a little bit of something in everywhere, just get your word out. So, I mean, it's just, I think that's kind of the way I'm going to do it. I can't just concentrate on YouTube, just concentrate on Facebook. I got to have a little bit everywhere. So.
Well, I got to tell you, man, we love what you're doing with this, and it's great to see the success you're having. It's very weird for me to sit like on this side and take questions from you. I straight want to start interviewing you right now. I'm like, Dutch, you got anything from the chat? Let's go. It's been very difficult for me to just sit back and kind of talk about myself.
It's fun to turn the tables on people like that, because I've had people like, what this podcast has kind of brought me is I've had Steve Reichlin on. I talked to Steve Reichlin, like I grew up watching Steve Reichlin stuff. And it's like, I have this guy talking to me. He gave me his phone number, his mobile phone number, it's like, holy cow,
amazing.
And I'm a nobody, like you said, talking to Google, I'm a nobody. I got Malcolm Reed, going, yeah, I'll be on there, and Meathead Goldwyn from Amazing Ribs. Sure, I'll be on, hey, let's go cook together. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
But it's fun, and it's a really big confidence builder, and I think anybody can do it if they put their mind to it. And it's if, like you said, most of the people aren't arrogant, they're not haughty, they're willing to help you, and they're willing to talk about themselves and teach other people. So I mean, that's the fun part about it. So
yeah, for sure.
But that's what started me doing this in the first place, is wanting to teach people what I learned and what I'm learning, so in sharing it with others. And I think if you start something like that, you're going to be successful at it, and the people that I've known that have been successful at it, that's what they do.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it's been great having you on. Dutch, got anything else you want to say? How's things out there in the Midwest?
Spring's around the corner. So we're looking forward to a little warmer weather here. We're not ready for 90 degrees yet, but hey, we're trending in the right direction. I want to thank you for inviting us on, Darren. Really had a great time.
I really like having you guys on. I think it's going to be, I'm going to put this up on YouTube. Like I said, I'm going to start doing some more of these, and the video ones, and having them on YouTube, especially with the YouTube guys that I started watching and follow a lot. So I think it's going to be great for all of us. But thanks again, CJ, for being on. Make sure you check out Daddy Dutch BBQ on YouTube. Make sure you check out Cooking with CJ and CJ's Q on Cooking with CJ, Thursday nights at 9 Eastern time, the hot seat, where you get to see the next food cook or YouTube cooks star, probably. I don't know. There's a lot of people, you never know. It could be the next Guga on there, but always fun to watch. Thanks, guys, for being on. Hope to see you again soon.
All right. Cheers, brother. Thank you.
All righty. Thanks again.